10/16, October 2004. CM Punk vs. Samoa Joe, round 2. First round, 6-12, Dayton, Ohio. Nobody won. It was a 60-minute time limit draw. The unstoppable monster, Samoa Joe, couldn't pin the immovable object, CM Punk. So here we are in Chicago. That's the big difference. Chicago, Illinois, my hometown, my backyard, if you will. Anybody who's a tough guy in any sport, any walk of life will tell you they know how to fight. They've gotten their ass kicked time and time again. I've got my ass handed to me plenty of times. It used to be I'd go to high school, I'd get beat up in the hallway. I'd get beat up after school in the parking lot. One particular time, a couple of kids came to my house. They rang my doorbell. I was in the middle of eating dinner with my parents. I stepped outside and I fought and I scraped and I clawed, and I didn't look pretty after it was over, but I won. That's the big difference. They came to my house. This is my house. This is Chicago, Illinois. This is where I was trained. This is where I was born. This is where I was raised. I'm probably gonna die here someday. So Joe, anybody watching this, my best friend Ches is gonna be in the crowd tonight. We got 2 legends, Mick Foley and one who's gone 60 minutes with the best in the business on more than one occasion, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in attendance. So those of you sitting in the crowd, and those of you at home watching this who know me, think for one single second that I'm not going to capitalize on all these points. You don't know me. You're sadly mistaken. This is my home court. Joe, you picked a fight. You just rang my doorbell. And I dare you to try to beat me in Chicago, Illinois. I dare you to try to pin me or submit me in my own hometown. It's not gonna happen, Joe. Your damn near 2-year title reign ends tonight. History in the making. Chicago, Illinois. 10/16/2004. 51st Ring of Honor show. New champion, CM Punk.
60 minutes, Punker. 60 minutes. In the span of 60 minutes, you proved one thing, and that you couldn't beat me. Tonight in your hometown, Chicago, Illinois, the birthplace of the straight edge hero, you think you have the advantage. You think you got my number. You think you can take what's mine. Punk, unfortunately for you, you fail to realize one thing. In 60 minutes, you failed. And tonight, you'll fail again.
and I'm nice like B.I.G. is. I'm the greatest of all times. I'ma say it just like Ali did.
The champ is here! Come on!
Let's go, don't make me put your home in that. You beat me up.
Introducing first to my left, the challenger from Chicago, Illinois. Representing second season, SAMOA. From Huntington Beach, California, weighing 270 pounds, he is your Ring of Honor World Champion, Samoa Joe.
Hey, you want to take Mike in it, Joe? Hey, you want to take some Mike in it, Joe?
Take down Chicago Park. Come on, James.
More feet for Mike in it.
What an atmosphere we have here in the Frontier Fieldhouse in Chicago Ridge, Illinois. CM Punk challenging Samoa Joe for the world title. Both men shaking hands, respecting the code of honor, respecting each other, and we are underway.
Jimmy, you know how you can tell when two wrestlers in a match of this intensity really do have respect for each other?
Why don't you give us an answer, Mark?
You don't see the phony face-to-face, nose-to-nose stare down. Both of these men know neither man will be intimidated. And it's important to point out that CM Punk has home ring advantage. The Chicago Sun here trying to take the title in front of his hometown fans. And immediately, it's going to be Samoa Joe showing off his power. Jimmy, it's going to be very interesting, the early part of this match, because at World Title Classic, CM Punk came in with a revolutionary strategy. The first man that ever went to try to extend Samoa Joe, to test Samoa Joe's endurance, that was willing to take the punishment with a rope-a-dope, if you will, willing to just go up on the ropes and let Samoa Joe beat on him to try to wear Samoa Joe out. CM Punk realized that night that Samoa Joe does have the stamina to go an hour. CM Punk will most assuredly change his game plan tonight.
This is the rematch everyone's waited for since June 12th, World Title Classic. CM Punk, Samoa Joe going to a 1-hour draw for the world title. And many people call that the greatest match in Ring of Honor history. I'd be hard-pressed to disagree. A sure match of the year candidate. We got a quick cover! Right on with that strategy, Mark Nolte, as Punk going for the quick three and showing it to Samoa Joe.
Drop toe hold floats up into the crucifix pinning combination. It should also be pointed out, one of the very few men to pin Samoa Joe over the last 19 months was Colt Cabana in a non-title survival of the fittest elimination. And one of the things that Colt Cabana used was a pinning combination, used a back cradle to win that. And you know that CM Punk has been in contact with Cabana and has been strategizing with Cabana what Cabana did successfully.
Cabana out with an injury tonight, not being able to be here in action in his hometown of Chicago due to Generation Next. And it is interesting to note that Cabana right here in his hometown had the world title shot at Samoa Joe last time in Chicago. Death Before Dishonor Part 2. Joe was unintimidated by going against the hometown guy, not letting the crowd play a factor in this one. Perhaps we'll see him keep that same poise tonight against the leader of the Second City Saints, CM Punk.
Overhand wrist lock now by Samoa Joe, and notice the way Samoa Joe is riding on top of CM Punk, making CM Punk carry that weight. Now CM Punk comes to his feet. CM Punk looking for the escape on the wrist lock, takes away with the extended wrist lock. Fireman carries the big man to the mat, and notice CM Punk is going to back away, doesn't want to make any mistakes early with Samoa Joe.
Almost a game of one-upmanship here. In fact, it is a game of one-upmanship. Punk with a cocky stare to Joe after he took him down. Another lockup between the two. Another intense lockup. Once again, Todd Sinclair, your official in this match.
And Samoa Joe using his power to bull CM Punk into the ropes. Todd Sinclair calling for the clean break. Clean break by Samoa Joe, but does protect himself on the break by making sure that CM Punk doesn't cheap shot him. Again, you have so much riding on this match. CM Punk didn't use the word guarantee, but he used every other word but guarantee when he talked about this match and how important it is that he walks out of here with the world title. Hammerlock reversal by Samoa Joe. Both men seem to contend to wrestle. Now Samoa Joe's going to bar the arm on that hammerlock. CM Punk looking for something because the arm's barred. He can't take it. He can't reverse it back out. Now CM Punk going to go to his knees. Samoa Joe going to follow him. He's going to bend that hammerlock back, fall away with his weight on that hammerlock. And last night, CM Punk had a match with Homicide where Homicide used that lariat and the back of a chair to punish the chair in the neck of CM Punk. And Samoa Joe's going to test that part of the body right now.
Punk reversing it on Joe. Comes up with Joe back on the arm. Both men having tough matches last night, but you know the adrenaline's flowing in them right now, and that's not going to play a factor in this one. Punk now, look at him walking away, keeping an eye on Joe as he does that. Another clean break, another standoff between these two athletes.
Well, we've talked about that the crowd may give a little bit of an adrenaline rush to CM Punk. Samoa Joe is used to at this point going into the match where the crowd is, I don't know, rooting against him, but rooting for a title change. They want to be part of the history that's going to come from seeing the longest reigning ROH champion, the man that really put the ROH title on the world map, lose the belt.
It will be history when Joe finally loses the title, if he ever does at this rate.
Now extended wrist lock by CM Punk, taking a few pages from the Nigel McGuinness playbook, rolling out from underneath it. Reverse drop toe by Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe floats up into the camel clutch.
Joe with a cocky gaze out to the crowd as well, showing them that he's not going to be intimidated by them cheering for CM Punk, although this crowd also behind Samoa Joe as they do appreciate and respect him. Joe now really rearing back on CM Punk there. That could definitely pop out a vertebrae or two. Punk though out of the hold.
CM Punk brings Samoa Joe to the center of the ring, drops into the side headlock into the prone position. Now CM Punk draping that leg across there into a riding position if he has to keep control of the headlock.
It's very interesting that Punk going for the headlock here, as that was a definite strategy he used in that World Title Classic match. He kept going back to the headlock to wear down Joe and frustrate Joe. It'll be interesting to see if he tries those same tactics one more time.
Great observation, Jimmy.
Whip out. Shoulder block, no one budging. Punk going right back to the headlock.
And hip toss takeover. And again, notice the way CM Punk is forcing his weight across the chest of Samoa Joe. Now he's going to grapevine the arm to go with the headlock, and that's going to make Samoa Joe carry that weight. It looks like CM Punk is preparing for another long match. Certainly, he doesn't want to make any mistakes in the early part of the match. Now Samoa Joe takes that away with the head scissors.
Artie's in my earpiece. He's telling me to get the plug out of the way, so I will. ROHWrestling.com, 215-781-2500 for all your wrestling merchandise needs. ROH DVDs, DVDs from other companies. Ring of Honor is the new king of the shoot interviews with the Straight Shooting series. Check out Shoots with Mick Foley. Of course, you'll hear more about Foley and Flair on that one. Foley with some unbelievable words for Flair. Also Shoots with Too Cold Scorpio, Kamala, One Man Gang, The Fantastic, Steve Corino, Christopher Daniels, Ron Killing, Skandar Akbar, and much, much more. As Punk goes back to the headlock. Again, that's ROHWrestling.com, 215-781-2500. DVDs from lots of promotions besides Ring of Honor and the Straight Shooting interviews. The new king of the shoot interview is here, and it's Ring of Honor. Got that one out of the way quickly so we can get right back to the match and a side headlock by Punk.
Went for the Greco-Roman backdrop. CM Punk keeps on his feet and goes back to the side headlock. Speaking of plugs, let's give a plug to somebody that rarely gets a plug, but I think's done a great job lately, and that's referee Todd St. Clair. Since the Ring of Honor promotion has told the referees to emphasize the rules, they've adapted their officiating style. I think they've done a good job controlling matches. And Todd Sinclair, referees can get intimidated too by the importance of a match. Todd Sinclair has done a really good job keeping in the title match last night with Rocky Romero and Samoa Joe, immediately sent Homicide to the back to keep control of it.
That's why Sinclair was chosen as the official for this one. That's also why he was the official for Samoa Joe's Classic against Bryan Danielson at Midnight Express Reunion. That match going over 30 minutes. Many call that the match of the year. And Sinclair calling for the break right now.
Let's see if this is a clean break. No, there's the shoulder into the midsection. The second one by Samoa Joe. The third one by Samoa Joe. Knocking the wind out of the sails of CM Punk. Snapmares Punk to the mat. Comes in from behind with the reverse chin lock.
Samoa Joe perhaps a little frustrated with those headlocks. Not giving a clean break, but look at that. Punk reversing out of it into a front face lock.
No, technically, every time there's separation, it's a clean break. I know that's reading the rule book in the most technical way possible.
A cravat now by Punk. Many people see CM Punk as the future Ring of Honor champion. Can he realize that destiny tonight? And he goes once again to the side headlock.
CM Punk, nice chain wrestling from the headlock to the hammerlock, back down to back over to the headlock hip toss takeover. And CM Punk has been in so many brawls that I don't know if people respect how good of a technical wrestler CM Punk is, and he's showing that in this match right now.
Punk really rearing in that headlock there. Joe taking him into the corner once again. And once again, no clean break from Joe. He's just unleashing those chops.
Nice composure on the part of CM Punk as he got cheap shotted twice on the breaks, once with the shoulder butts, once with the knife edge chops, doesn't respond, instead goes back to wrestling the match he wants to wrestle, back to the headlock hip toss takeover.
Punk employing the same strategy he did at World Title Classic. Jay Lethal in the corner of Samoa Joe. Of course, he is Joe's protege, here to watch this match and lend some support.
almost Japanese style, where a lot of the wrestlers in Japan have seconds for their matches.
Joe trying to go into the corner, but Punk fighting his way out and keeping the headlock on. Nice agility by Punk, and Joe's very agile and quick for a big man, and in fact, even for a little